Hi, welcome to another episode of Roofing Right with Dave and Wally. Obviously, I'm Wally, and you are.
I'm Dave. I'm the fun one.
So what are we going to talk about today, Dave?
Well, first of all, I love this deck.
Yeah, so we're here in lovely Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
brand new test deck.
Yeah. Anyway, what are we doing?
We're talking about tapered.
Perfect.
Different ways to lay up a tapered.
Okay.
So what we have here is the traditional way, guys. We've done it since forever. You lay your base layer in and come lay your tapered on top.
Yeah.
Which is fine and dandy.
Yeah.
But what are the problems? Some of the problems you can run into.
More fasteners.
Right.
Because you have your 4x4s on top instead of a 4x8.
4x8 on top.
Right.
And sometimes we talk about this to guys that have been doing this for a long time. You say there's another way to do it, and you think, well, how else you can do it? We're going to talk about later, right?
Right.
So what's the other issue? I mean, we're going from what, roughly 8 inches high down there
Oh my
to
gosh.
3 or 4?
Yeah.
So screws.
Right. So you'll probably have, what, a 4 down here?
4 inch.
Well, obviously, and an
8
8 up there, right.
And you have to adjust in between. How many times you've been on a roof, guys don't want to take the time.
Yeah.
They got the same size screw and they put it in. Well,
Right.
you got basically nothing holding your roof on.
This is true.
Yeah, or your insulation.
And how many inspections have we done seeing that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the other issue is on the screw size, how much thread do you actually have on a screw?
4.
4 to 4.5 inches. The rest is shank. And if you go too far, not have enough thread, you're into the shank. You basically got nothing holding on.
Right. Or you go through the drop ceiling.
Right, exactly. So let's kind of maybe lift this up, kind of talk about what we have here. So we have our base layer, which is what, 2.6, and now we have an X panel, goes from a half inch to inch and a half.
Right.
We're going 1.5 to 2.5. Then we have a
Wide.
filler, and we're back to a half inch to inch and a half to 2.5.
Right.
Make sure we got a nice taper.
Perfect.
And also we're staggering off our base layer. Make sure we got the stagger in there. I mean, it's pretty simple.
It is. I mean, been doing it forever.
Now, talking about fasteners. So again, we have 4x4 boards. So how many fasteners do I need in each one of these boards, Dave? 4. 4 per board, right?
In 6 inches from the edge, always.
So somebody could do the math. Depending on the size of your job, you're using a lot more fasteners than you really need to in a situation. And again, there's nothing wrong with this.
No. I mean, you have 8 for 32 square foot, right?
You do the math.
Yeah, that's hang on. Okay, I'm right.
Yeah.
You have 8. If you use a 2.0 or bigger 4x8, you have 5.
5.
So that's 8 from 5. That's 3 more.
You ready for this? Extrapolate that out over a big job.
It's just I can't do that, but you're losing 3. So.
And then if you're doing, another option, do a low-rise foam attachment. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to attach this to a building. So this is a standard mechanically attached system.
Yeah.
Kind of what we're talking about.
The advantage of low-rise foam is it is faster.
Right. But doing that, you have to again account for, if I'm low-rise foaming to the deck, I have to do low-rise foam that. I have to low-rise foam this piece. This piece, now I have 2 layers here. I have to low-rise foam my fill and then my tapered, and the same thing.
Yeah, it's a lot of low-rise foam.
You always got to think about. Yeah.
Right.
So Dave, we talked about
Wally.
this being a mechanically attached system. What if
Right.
this were an adhered system?
Well, if this were an adhered system, you'd have to get your calculator out.
Because you'd be adding a lot more fasteners.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Hey, just say a 4x8 piece in a corner, it could be up to,
30.
depending on the thickness of the insulation, could be up to 32, right?
Oh yeah.
So
absolutely.
again, you're using a lot of plates.
And you can gang fasten this.
Yeah.
You're supposed to gang fasten it.
Yeah,
So you don't do every layer.
Yeah,
You just go through the top and be done with it.
You might have to put a couple just to hold the bottom layer in place.
Right.
And come back and gang screw through everything from the top.
Yeah.
Another option, a lot of guys do induction welding.
Yes.
So,
Ooh.
and you putting those plates in a certain grid pattern.
Right.
And if you put your tapered on top, you got 1 or 2 choices.
Mm-hmm.
Either switch out your plates, which most people don't.
Right.
They use the induction plate, which you're wasting a lot, which are fairly expensive,
Mm-hmm.
versus a standard plate.
Correct.
And it throws your pattern way off.
Well, and then too, if you're using a standard plate, you want to use plastic.
Yeah.
Because you don't want metal in there.
Or
if
a
you're doing
different
induction
shape or something.
Something, yeah.
Because if that induction machine finds that standard metal plate, what's going to do to your machine?
Well, it's going to find it and it's going to burn it.
Yeah, it could mess up your machine.
Right.
What do we have? GAF has in one of our offices that it can actually figure out a tapered system for you.
We have tapered design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you send a drawing in. Now it has to be pretty accurate, correct?
Well, they can only make what you send.
Yeah, you don't bring out a bar napkin and send it in.
No, probably not. No.
So whatever your drawing is, they're going to give you a map of how this tapered's going to get laid out,
A side view, the map, the whole 9
how it
yards.
lays in.
Yeah. Makes it pretty simple.
So Dave, we talked about this option.
Right.
So now we can show them another option where we actually put the tapered on the deck and cover it with our full sheets,
Right.
which you'll see is going to save a lot of work, a lot of fasteners.
Absolutely.
And then some people ask, well, it won't drain. Yes, it will drain. So Dave, we showed everybody kind of the traditional way everybody does tapered. We're going to show another option here, which I'm sure some guys out there are doing. Some guys have never thought about doing this.
Right.
So we're going to actually bury the taper. So we kind of look here, this is what we have here. We have our tapered system. Again, we have our half-inch, inch and a half to 2.5, and then we have our fill-in and then our tapered on top. Now in the real world, we got perfect conditions here. We really don't have to screw these down because we're going to bring our 2.6 4x8 and put it on top.
Right.
In the real world, you might have put a couple, the wind's blowing, you might just put a couple just to hold these in place. There's absolutely no reason to screw these down because we can gang screw this.
Right.
So once our tapered is buried, now we can come in with our final layer of insulation.
Okay.
So you're breaking the stagger with that one?
Yep, breaking the stagger. Now, how many fasteners do we need in these boards?
So because it's over 2.0, you need 5 per.
5 for 8-foot board.
Right. So that would be 10 and then 2 in your starter.
So 2 or 4 in my half here.
2 because it's a 2-footer.
So we just need 1 on each side, right?
Right.
Right. So I don't need to put 4 in here, I just need 2.
Yeah. Don't you like these little marks?
Yeah, those are nice.
Tells you exactly
plate
where they
placement.
go. Did you get one in the middle?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So again, if you look over our shoulder, we have 4 per 4x4 board, and we have 5 per 4x8 board. It doesn't seem like much here in a little mock-up. We
No.
understand that. It looks pretty simple.
Yeah.
But on a big size job, this is gonna add up really, really quick.
Real quick. Plus the labor.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah. What's the worst part of installing a mechanically attached system, and you ask anybody out there, is putting screws in.
Yeah. And if you had somebody who can do screws.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. So check out all other videos at gaf.com/roofingitright.